Hey there, I'm back. We have a new documentation. This documentation is about the obs.register feature with the OBS custom API script on the OBS API itself, the OBS wrapper. We have the OBS wrapper back. So with this one, we're going to be talking about obs.register, which has a couple things that we could work with. One of them is hotkey. And then the other one is obs.register event. So far, these are what it's gonna provide you with. And what you could do with them is the obs.register is actually a dictionary that provides, you can say here, you have access to this OBS event, which is a function, and then OBS hotkey, which is also a function. So the way this works is actually take a look at it. We're gonna talk about the events, I guess, first. So the way you call this is simply easy. You say obs.register.event. Now, what does this function do? This actually register an event to the OBS front end. And whenever the user, like, let's say, makes changes or starts recording or starts streaming, it will go ahead and execute this event, basically. So the first thing you provide, I think, is the function. Well, I mean, it's actually the ID, but you don't have to provide an ID if you don't want to. The only reason you would provide the ID is if you want to later on get access of that event and then delete it if you want to. So for example, here you can see this AI has generated a function that we can work with. I'm actually going to go ahead and just accept it. So you can see right here, I've created this event with the ID of my event. So after the first argument, like I said, it could be a function or the ID that you want. And the second argument has to be a function. But if you remove the ID and you just give it a function, then it will just go ahead and work as well. So the ID is not required, but the function is required. So if I save this, go here, I don't know what this is, but I'm gonna go ahead and print here whenever the API text changes. So we're gonna go ahead and print that. And now let's take a look at the console here. So I'm gonna go ahead and reload the script. Actually, I didn't even load it. So I gotta load the script, which is API documentation. Just like that, you can see the output has nothing for us. I'm gonna go ahead and just to, I guess, I mean, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so far you can see there's no output. But if I go ahead and let's say it's looking for scene change. So if I add a new scene, for example, I think it will also detect that too. So you can see here, same thing. Number 8 is the last one that it executed. I think that's like that scene change value, which is also where we get the output here, scene change. So I think number 8 represents whenever the user switches scene, and like number 24 and 11, I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's something related to cleaning up the memory or cleaning up data, I think, or cleaning up like resources, probably. But yeah, you can see that's how you add an event. And like I said, an event, whenever you add an event, it will be triggered whenever the user interacts with, I think, the OBS itself. So like changes or deletes whenever the user deletes data. So for example, if I go ahead and delete this one, maybe it will trigger an event, I think. Let's see. Nope. Okay, that didn't trigger an event. Maybe it doesn't listen for those kind of events. It's only like user end events like recording, streaming, all those kind of things. I think if I start a virtual camera, that should probably execute an event. Yeah, you can see here, we got a front end event triggered, which is 31. So that is triggered because I clicked this button. So if I click it again, I think it will also going to trigger an event as well. And then now we get event triggered 32. So that is how you work with events. Now, the other option here that it provides is obs.register.hotkey. So with this option actually lets you register a front-end hotkey where the user can press. So the first value, it seems like it's the ID. So here you can give it any kind of ID you want. And this, I think this option is actually required. So you actually have to give it something. I mean, not really. You can just make it empty. It will maybe work, but it will not work for as many other hotkeys that you created. So for example, let's say I want to have like a print. I'm just going to say print because it's going to print. Actually, let's say print hello. And there we go. All right. So over here, you can see the first argument it takes for the hotkey is the ID, which if you want this to work appropriately, you would have to make it unique. And then the second argument is the title. This title will be what the user will see. And then the third argument is the function callback that you want to set for this hotkey when the user presses the hotkey. So just like that, I save it. And notice it doesn't give you the option to actually set the hotkey value. That's because this register function is actually going to register the hotkey into the OBS hotkey settings. So if we take a look, you can see there's no output, but if we go to settings and then we go to hotkeys, you will see there's this print hello world. So this is where the user will go ahead and input the hotkey they want, basically. So if I click, let's say Shift Control A, apply, save, just like that. Now, if we take a look at the output, you'll see there's nothing. But if I click Shift Control A, you see we get this output, hello world from hotkey. And that's how you set up hotkeys using the OBS custom API programmed in Lua. So yeah, it's very simple, very easy. And of course, this register function actually returns back a table where you can actually access the events. So you can like work with the event if you want to. You can like delete the event as well. So over here, this is actually hotkey. So I'm just going to do that. So if you wanted to work with that, so if you wanted to delete the event, you can also do that as well. So if you do event that remove, this will actually remove the event that was previously set. And then event that remove as well for the hotkey as well. So it gives you this remove function where you would be able to delete this data. I think this data that it returns, it has more options than just remove. It has the ID for event, it has ID, and it also has I think it just has ID for event. And there's also the callback function that you set as well. So if you access event the callback, that will give you back the callback function. That's the callback, where in this case, the callback refers to the function that was provided when the event was set. So there's that. And then there's event.id, which is the ID that was created. I don't think it provides you with unique ID. It just provides you with event ID because actually it does provide you with unique ID. That is if you did add a unique ID. So you can also access a unique ID, which was the one that the programmer created when you called this function here. Same thing with this as well. This also has the same thing. It has a remove, hotkey remove, right? And then it has ID. It also has the callback function, ID. I think also the unique ID, and it also has title. So title is the title right here. That's what title refers to. And then it has the unique ID as well. Hotkey, that unique ID. So those are the parameters that you get back from calling the function register.hotkey and function obs.register.event. It gives you back a table that has access to if you want to remove it and if you want to also, just access the function itself or, the properties that you want to work with. That's how you use the obs.register functions. There's also a couple more functions that you could work with. Let's say that you have already registered the events and the hotkeys and you just want to access them. And the way you would do that is by using, for event, you can use obs.register.get event. So this will get you the event that you created with the unique ID that you created previously. And if you wanted to get the hotkey as well, you can do that same thing. Instead of saying get event, you say get hotkey from the register function. So yeah, and this get function returns the table that was previously created, which has information about the event, and also you could remove the event as well later on. And yeah, that's how that works. Oh, one more thing with the removing event and hotkeys is when you call this remove function, there's actually a Boolean that you're supposed to pass. This Boolean value will in this case, if set to true, it will remove the hotkey from OBS2. From OBS2. So in this case, you would only do this. You would only set it to true. Only set to true if the script is not unloading or loading. In this case, to avoid crashing OBS. Because if you set this to true, you can call this function best place to call it would be when updating hotkey events. So that's where you would call. That's where you would call the remove function with a Boolean set to true if you're updating, or if you are updating and not removing it. Because if you're like reloading the script, removing it also, you could also call it there too. But yeah, just that's the best place to go when updating hotkeys or events. So yeah, that's how the remove function works. It's the same thing with event. Make sure if you set it to true, then it's going to actually remove it from OBS. But because OBS actually handles this in the background when the application closes, that's why it crashes, because sometimes it tries to also free it at the same time. I think it tries to like release the function when it doesn't exist, which actually causes it to crash because we already released it from our end, and OBS tries to also release it, which it's undefined, so it goes ahead and crashes. So avoid setting the value to true. By default, it's set to false, which will cause it to like not remove it from like the OBS, but it would like delete the function, so that way the function doesn't work the way it's supposed to, I guess, when you call the remove function. It'll like make the function not do anything by default. if you call the remove function in a reload function. So you can still call this function in a reload function. It's just if you set it to true, then it will crash if it's in a reloading phase or destroying phase, for example. Yeah, that's how that works. I think that's really all about this document session. I'll see you guys on the next one.